So you may remember that the other day I made reference to the fact that I have had several projects that I'm trying to work on, and many of them have been failures for one reason or another. In one case, there's stuff coming out for the Corsair build that I don't know whether to wait on or proceed on. And the whole thing with the RTX 3080 and 3090 launch, and now the RTX 3080s having issues, has kind of made me wait and see. I don't want to say that's as a bad thing, but now I'm considering waiting and seeing what AMD has to offer, or if things are going to be fixed by the time the RTX 3070 comes out, or what kind of situation we might be in. So the Corsair build is going to have to wait at least a couple more weeks. I will get things started and start filming as I start putting that box together, but until I find out what I'm going to put in it, that's where we are with that. The Ryzen 5 3600X, that processor, I think I am going to go ahead and do a bring an old computer back to life build. I just haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do. Now I do have an X370, an X370 motherboard that has an AM4 socket. Currently it's got a 2400G processor in it, or I think it's a Ryzen 5 2400G. And I'm going to go ahead and update that. The problem is I don't currently have my video card. That is in Amy's computer, and we still haven't gotten her quite squared away, so I don't have that card back. So I need to do that, or I need to go ahead and pick up just a regular graphics card, cheap, that will be good enough to be in there, but will replace the internal graphics that are on that 2400G chip. So that's where we are there. Trying to figure out, I'll map that out and I'll get that started sometime this week as well. In the meantime, I also mentioned that I had bought monitor stands for the two monitors that I have that I'm using for my PC setup. I'm using more than two monitors on my desk, but one of them is strictly for work. I've got it set up to my work laptop and that's it completely. So I wanted to set the other two up. And so they would be for my home PC for editing, streaming, gaming, or what have you, or just everyday BS type stuff. And I made mention of the fact that somehow I screwed that up because the curved monitor came with a set of extensions that I somehow misplaced. And I looked all over the place in small hardware and little mounting brackets and things of that nature that I usually keep all in one place all over the place. Or not, I want to say all over the place, but I usually try to keep them organized and they're in one section or another with small hardware. Did not take into account that I might have actually put it with the manuals. Does have the extensions in here. They are in the they're in the sleeve that the manual came in, or the owner's manual and the quick guide and all that stuff came in, and I just simply stuck it with all the other manuals. I did put it in a safe spot. I did put it somewhere where I wouldn't lose it, and I promptly forgot where it was. So thanks to all the suggestions of people telling me to go look in the box with all the owner's manuals and stuff like that, because guess what? That's where they are. So today we're starting off, and we're going to go ahead and clean up my desk, and we're going to go from there and show you what it looks like kind of before and probably a whole lot after we get that on both those monitors on stands and see how well that goes. So that's what we're doing. All right, so this is what my desk currently looks like. And you can see with the USB hub, there's a lot of wires. There's wires coming off the back of the monitors. There's just a bunch of stuff, and it's a horrible mess. Don't pay attention to my voice recorder there, which is also my cell phone. It's a complete mess, and so we need to do something. There's my work computer and that's set up. That will stay, and I'll probably push that off to the side or figure out something with that. But these are the culprits here. These are what I have to clean up, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I've got a bracket that I ordered off of Amazon. It's by a company called Vivo. I have no idea how good or how bad. The reviews on it were pretty decent, and so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so to try to show you why those standoffs were so important, on the back panel there, it actually just kind of opens up, and it leaves it a little bit raw, and it's not as presentable or pretty as I'd like it to be, but it is a way of mounting it. That cover is usually, there is a cover that usually goes over the stand part of it, but since we took that stand off and we're using a Vesa mount, it's going to be a little bit more open. But it's structural, it's firm, it's on there. And with those extensions, I'm able to go ahead and put that Vesa mount. It is a Vesa 75. You can see that it's the inside holes instead of the outside holes. But our other one's going to be a Vesa 100, I believe, and it's on a flat panel, which will be much, much easier. So, one down, one to go. Okay, so I'm trying not to point the camera directly at the lamp there sitting on the table, but I needed some more light. I needed some extra light in here. That is what the stand looks like with the two monitors and of course my webcam peeking over the top. It's on a separate stand. All the cable management pretty well tidied up, I'm going to say. It was much easier to do. I got to excuse my work computer. Sorry about that. There's still a little bit of a tangle of wires there, but that can't be helped. There's like 5 wires coming off, 4 or 5 wires coming off for internet connection, various other things. So, but we've gotten everything tidied up quite a bit. Headset has its own hanging place. The desk itself is looking pretty decent. Cable management underneath is looking pretty good. I don't have any real issues there. Headset for my work computer, all that good stuff. Anyway, overall it looks pretty good. It's gonna do what I need it to do, and it looks so much better than that mess I had in the other room. So yeah, I guess all that's left to do is just kind of wrap this whole thing up. All right, so that's it. That's all you got. I have to say I'm happy with the way the whole thing went. The company that I got the stands, or the Vesa mount stands, is called Vivo, V-I-V-O. I found it on Amazon. It's surprisingly inexpensive, and surprisingly, I mean, it was pretty easy to put together. The instructions were pretty decent. All the hardware was in there, and they even included, in case I could not find the extensions, which I didn't notice before, but they even had longer screws and standoffs, plastic standoffs that I could have used if I could not have found the extensions I needed for the curved monitor. So, and even instructions to hook up for a curved monitor. So I was pretty impressed when I actually got to see that. I guess maybe I should have looked before, but in my opinion, it's always best to use the original hardware that you get when you buy the product in the first place. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't planning on doing a review of that Vesa mount or that stand, but it's a pretty good product, and so I'll go ahead and leave a link to it. It's not a sponsored link or anything, but I'll leave a link to that product down in the description for you if you decide that you want to do something like that. It was pretty easy to set up. Most of what took the longest was just reorganizing everything. I had to pull everything apart, and I had to decide, since I do have a hole in my desk, I had to decide how I wanted to mount it. It gives you 2 different options for a pre-drilled hole and to mount with a C-clamp type thing. I chose to go ahead and mount it with the clamp instead of through the hole, because I routed a few of my cables through the hole for my USB hub. And it cleaned everything up. The rest of all the cables for the webcam and the monitors and everything all hide behind the monitor stand, and it cleans everything up and makes everything look much better. It gives me a lot more room on the desk, and now I'm not having to fight for that little bit of room that I was fighting for between my home PC and my work computer, which had already been cleaned up quite a bit from when I moved from the old table to this setup. I was also able, you were able to see that I cleaned up everything underneath. There's no cables hiding underneath there. Well, they're all hidden, but there's no cables hanging. There's nothing that gets in the way or looks horrible, or that one that stands out and goes, ugh. And the only real cables that do sit out there and kind of, I don't want to say an eyesore, but they're more of an eyesore than the rest of the cables, is all the stuff that I do have coming off my work laptop. That's an unavoidable thing. I'm working from home, so that's what you get. But I don't mind, because now I have 2 separate systems, including being able to move my mic more close to where I was. Well, that ain't gonna work. Including being able to move my mic and the lamp and everything into a better area where it's going to be a better support, and instead of trying to hide it behind something or attach it in front of something. So that works out much better. And overall, I think it's going to do the job I needed to do. So I'll be able to stream, I'll be able to edit, I'll be able to game, I'll be able to do whatever I need from that setup. I'll also be able to work independently, and I don't think I'll have too many issues. So that's what you got. If you are interested in that monitor stand, I was pretty pleased with it. They had plenty of hardware. 3 different Allen wrenches come with it, because there's 3 different sizes that they use, but all 3 of those are in there. Everything was laid out pretty easily and pretty descriptive, and like I said, they even included extra hardware in case I would not have been able to find the extensions from the original monitor. So that's all I got, folks. Do me a favor, do all those internet things. If you like the video, hit a thumbs up on it for me and like the video. Don't be afraid to subscribe. It's that red button. Doesn't cost anybody anything to like and subscribe, and it really does help the channel out. And that's all I got for right now. So until next time, folks, I got other stuff going on, like I'm upgrading another computer and doing the Corsair build and a few other things. So stay tuned for that stuff. You won't, well, I won't want to miss it. I'm kind of involved. So, but anyway, hopefully you don't want to miss it either. That's all I got for right now. And like I said, I'll see you later.